I just wanted to make a video about Final Fantasy XIV because I don't get to talk about it on stream or actually stream it. So I just thought, why not make a video about it? I do have a script, but I'm just loosely following it, I guess. I talk about it a lot with friends, but I never really get to organize my thoughts into like a cohesive essay, if you can call this an essay or anything. So this will be interesting for me, to say the least. I guess I'll start with how I got into this game. I first started when my ex was telling me about this game while we were dating. It seemed interesting, and I was looking for a new MMO at the time, so I thought, why not? The price and the subscription definitely threw me off. But my ex offered to get it for me on Steam to try it out. So my first ever character was a female Aura, and I went Arcanist because I thought those types of classes were interesting. I thought the whole summoning aspect was really cool. I ended up hating the combat when I first started because I had to stand still and cast, and the dodge window for AoEs was really bad, at least for me at the time. I was much more used to faster paced combat, so after a while I dropped it. A lot of things happened in my life after that. I broke up with my ex. I nearly dropped out of high school. And I lost all my friends from school. And also the pandemic started. I was in a pretty dark place at the time, and nothing really seemed to cheer me up or kind of get me out of this episode I was having. And that's when one of my online friends suggested to play Final Fantasy XIV again, because there was a free trial up to the award-winning expansion Heavensward, which is now extended to Stormblood. Wink wink. I decided to try again since there wasn't really anything to lose this time around. So I got it from like the site instead of Steam because I couldn't really do it on Steam anymore. That was probably the worst obstacle, by the way. The whole website is kind of atrocious. But yeah. That's when I made my Lalafell, which you see here now. I love my Lalafell. She, at the time, represented this sort of childlike wonder and happiness that I really missed and couldn't really feel anymore at the time. In a way, she was definitely someone that I wanted to be. Like upbeat, happy, like strong enough to face each day with a smile. That's what I thought. It's probably like not that deep, but I made it that deep. So me and two other friends started the game. I ended up going Bard this time around, or Archer, and I really liked it. It was really simple to pick up, and I got to move around a lot more, which is cool. I ended up being like a Bard main until like the end of Shadowbringers, and then I decided to branch out into like other classes. I became sort of obsessed with the game. I logged in every day, and I clocked in several hours each day, even when I was supposed to go to classes at the time. It was sort of my therapy when therapy wasn't really hitting that hard for me. Like kind of an escape kind of therapy. And I know it's not going to replace therapy. I know that much because I actually go to therapy, but it's still, it was still a really nice, like, place to be in this game. it became sort of a place where I could feel confident in my own skills and not be judged. Like, I didn't really meet anyone that was judgmental. I didn't really meet anyone that was kind of weird. I don't know. Maybe I'm just lucky. But definitely felt like my safe space at the time. My other two friends, unfortunately, didn't really enjoy the game as much as I did. Because, you know, they were dedicated to, like, other games, while I didn't really have a game to dedicate my time to until Final Fantasy came along. I ended up going ahead of them, and I met new friends that I still talk to this day. I feel bad for going ahead of them at such a rapid pace, but at the same time, I was really into this game, like, a lot. I won't give all the details because of spoilers, but I'll give some highlights of my Sprout journey and, like, part of Endwalker too. Making my Lalafell for the pleasure of kicking ass while being really tiny. I think, like, everyone I talked to while I was making my character was just really amused by the fact that I could make a Lalafell. Said Lalafell actually kicking ass in the story, and I could not take a Realm Reborn seriously because of her, which is fine. Like, a Realm Reborn isn't meant to be that serious, at least to me. Doing extreme trials, and dragging these poor mentors into these trials because I didn't know that Party Finder existed, and so I just dragged them in through their mentor queue, or their mentor roulette queue, and, you know, making friends through one of the extremes that I'm very close to now. Getting to, like, the end of A Realm Reborn just before Heavensward, making sure I quote-unquote set aside enough time to watch the cutscenes in full. It was a very powerful experience. And then doing Praetorium with friends for the first time, I really loved it. These are with my other two friends that I stopped playing with after a while. And it was the one time where I thought that we would be playing this game a lot longer because we were just having such a fun time in Praetorium. This is the old Praetorium. We got lost. And I'm pretty sure the other people in that party were like, what are these three people doing? Like, they're sprouts, they're lost. But I still had a fun time. Crying to Heavensward. Laughing at Alphino because he's kind of he's a bit of a mess, but, you know, he's a good character. Crying to Stormblood patch content specifically. Stormblood did not make me cry like the base content. I thought Stormblood was pretty hype, but, you know, it didn't make me cry until, like, patch content. It made me, like, kind of tear up. Crying to Shadowbringers. I'll be crying a lot, especially for patch 5.3, which is the patch that I joined, like, the game. And I caught up, and I played it, and I cried. I cried really hard for, a certain character. Yeah. Crying especially to Endwalker. I bawled my eyes out for Endwalker. And then speaking of Endwalker, I was alone, like, when I was finishing it, because it was during the Game Awards, and I was like, like, I felt so alone, and I felt so, like, helpless at the time, that I just cried. Like, I was in that final zone, and I cried really hard. I'm not even like that upset that I missed the Game Awards. Like they were kind of mid that year anyway. Not gonna lie. Um, I have notes down here, and it just says Grubhub. Like Grubhub was just one of the highlights. If you were there, if you were there, then you would know. um, and then finally, this is at the end of Shadowbringers. The satisfaction of getting all my jobs to max level and getting all the Shadowbringers relics in time for Endwalker. Yeah. I grinded the shit out of Boja because there was nothing else to do at the time. I was just leveling through like roulettes and Boja, and I really liked Boja. So I was like, let's do the freaking relic weapons, and let's do the Lubrum Savage, because why not? And I did it. I didn't add it here, but like, also stepping into Savage for the first time was definitely a highlight. Clearing a Savage in Shadowbringers for the first time, it was great. And then, you know, the FCs that I joined along the way. I joined like 2 past FCs. I'm in my 3rd FC that I was one of the founding members for, which I'm very proud of, and I'm very happy to be with like my friends in an FC. Yeah, my other 2 FCs, they're great. I love them. Just, you know, I like the sense of community, which is like one really small FC. And that's just more for me rather than like a bigger FC where I don't really know people. Yeah, it was a long journey from 2020 to now. I know I'm not special for joining a widely popular trend during the pandemic, but it was like the worst year, like one of the worst year of my life, if not the worst year of my life. And I'm young, like, you know, that's saying a lot when you're young, because there's probably going to be a lot more bad years when you grow up. But yeah. Even without the pandemic, it would have been still one of my worst years. This game, like Final Fantasy XIV, just made it so much better. Like, it basically saved my life. It kind of sounds like an exaggeration, but it literally saved me, at the time. I'll admit I did use it as like an emotional crutch. I did. I'd be playing it during classes. I'd be playing it when I should have been looking for work, like looking for a job. I'm in a much better place than I was back then, so I don't need to constantly play this game anymore to feel happy. But that's okay. Like, I think that's okay. I don't need this game to like feel my happiness anymore. But I am happy because this game still exists and will still be here for me even when I leave. And when I come back, it'll still be here. Yeah, and I'm waiting very patiently for Dawn Trail. That's all I really have to say. Again, I didn't want to get into spoilers, unless I decide to make a video talking about, let's say, like, my favorite expansion, which is definitely not Endwalker. Wink, wink. Thank you for listening to my rambling. I'll probably stream Dawn Trail when it comes out for early access. And I'll stream my, like, leveling as Picto, because I plan on picking up Picto. If people are interested, or if I'm willing to, because I know I haven't streamed for a long time. But yeah, I'll probably keep MSQ off stream so I can enjoy it on my own, and probably stream like the content after that, just because, you know, like, I don't want to give people spoilers, and I know people avoid MSQ streams because of spoilers, especially in the early, like, expansion days. But yeah, I'll play either way because I love this game. It's my favorite video game, after all. And I know it's kind of late to say this, but I kind of decided to do this just because I saw a lot of like doomer stuff going around, just because a lot of players are starved for content, and you know, like, even if it's drama content, it's still content involving the game. And I'll admit I'm a little bit of a consumer for drama. uh, but I just wanted to do something positive because I love this game. And I can't wait until the new expansion is out. It'll be great. I think so. Okay. That will be all. Goodbye.